Ian Walsh is a real legend out at Pe'ahi. I mean, he was the first of that next generation of surfers to take on the spot. He's been a mentor and an inspiration to me and many other kids that grew up here on the island. When he was doing his thing out at Jaws, I was still a really young little kid. So seeing him was really inspiring me. Like, I want to be like him one day.
See that no-look catch? Special.
And then to be able to kind of grow up to the point where I'm his friend and we're able to go surf big waves together and trust in each other's ability to be each other's partners in certain scenarios is awesome.
I kind of bounced between a few different websites to look for forecasts. The entire week of looking at the forecasts has looked really good. Good winds and big swell. It seems like this swell is having a lot more energy being shoved at California rather than Hawaii. You can see like the swells kind of more east into the Pacific.
As big wave surfers, we are constantly looking at maps, chasing the biggest, gnarliest, best waves around the world. And Ian really goes to the heart of it and is tracking all of the movements of the jet stream to the ocean temperatures to, what the currents might be doing in the ocean. And I'm just patiently waiting on him to tell me what he thinks.
It's going to be cold, big, dark, and scary, but could be really good. Could be some really special waves out there.
The talk of the town almost immediately after we came in from surfing Pe'ahi was Mavericks is going to be good next week. And people were calling it the day of days. Everything was lining up to be incredible. And no one knew what that looked like because the last time they said that was back in 2016 and before that, 1994. Ian and I decided that Mavericks was a place we needed to go again this winter. And of course, Ridge was coming with us. He had been at Jaws, he had been at Nazare, and now he's coming to Mavericks. Going up to Mavericks is really fun. It's not too far. It's just a quick hop across the pond. We collected our board bags, got the rental car, and then worked our way towards Half Moon Bay, which before was known for their pumpkin festivals. But just off the bluff there, where there's a military installation with big radar dishes, is this monster that exists. It's known for great white sharks, 60 to 70 foot waves, breaking in one tight spot. It's one of the heaviest big waves on Earth. When a wave breaks, it sends a shock wave and actually makes your ears ring because the bottom contour of the reef isn't flat. What it is cascading ledges. So when you fall, you end up in these channels where faster moving water from the wave above is moving and slower water beneath, and you end up getting trapped in this vacuum. Mavericks is probably one of the most likely spots you could drown. It's not unusual to have a 2-wave hold down, sometimes a 3-wave hold down. And that's when your worst nightmare comes true. And so it makes you realize nobody is safe out there. You have to do whatever you can to go home to your family, but then at the same time, you can't let that stop you from maybe riding the best wave of your life. You just landed from Hawaii, and tomorrow's gonna be a big Mavericks day. So why not get the boards ready for tomorrow? Don't even have to think about it. So I only brought 3 boards this time, 2 guns for here, both the same length, 9.4. I've hidden all of my CO2 cartridges in my booties. They're still there. Sweet. I have a really special relationship with Mavericks, and I've always stayed at this one particular hotel right there at the harbor, and it's something that is really inspiring somehow. Like, you're going from the comfort of this hotel room right at the harbor where you could peek over the seawall and see these giant waves breaking. And then you're in the lines and you're right there. Tomorrow's gonna be insane. Gotta capture everything. That's it, that's all. We're gonna wake up early and we're gonna do this together.
Oh, I slept so good and woke up by a foghorn. Still pitch black outside. I don't even know what time the sun comes up, but we're awake and we're gonna go wait out in the channel. And at first light, we shall be ready for some giant waves at Mavericks. I'll just go pull the car up.
Yep.
See you at the car.
Waking up at 4 a.m., you only hear the foghorn. And most of the time, the fog is reaching all the way into the harbor. You just see the harbor lights. You're trying to stay as warm as possible. Booties, gloves, even a hood that early in the morning. And the thing is as you're driving out, you start noticing the harbor is really flat because it's layered with walls. But as you go by each significant wall, the water starts moving a little more. And all of a sudden you hear like this angry explosion. It sounds like bombs are going off. And the ocean is just chaotic and there's a lot of breaking white water and you're in the dark. You're like, how big is it? I don't know. Am I ready for this? Do I have the right board? You're looking at each other like, if it's too gnarly, are we gonna go out? But once you're out there, you're just kind of like, all right, it's gonna be 0 to 100 real quick.
I've known Kai for a long time. He's grown up right down the street from where I live on Maui, and he's definitely someone I really enjoy being in the water with. I think he has a really optimistic outlook, and that's refreshing for me. Like, I've been doing this for a long, long time, and it's fun. It's like this infectious kind of energy that brings me back to when I was his age, and it really helps, I think, propel the entire session in the right direction.
I do think there is something uniquely extraordinary about the mindset that he brings to this activity that is so unbelievably dangerous and terrifying. It is so extreme. He brings this kind of childlike curiosity and delight. He sort of brings us in and welcomes us along with him. Instead of beating his chest, he's just like totally amped, you know, and totally psyched. And it's just like, God, that looks like so much fun.
All black everything, nothing's ever dark enough. We don't brought the fuel to the fire, let us spark it up. Lighting up the trees, you too busy barking up. Keep it honey, like the Spartans was. I be in a dealer's, but I still keep it realest. Fuck it with my people, pop the trunk and turn the speakers up. Pocket full of coins so I can fully fill a meter up. They can wait forever, I ain't pulling out the spot. And the pieces for Jesus and charge it all to the visas. We clocking clocks in the bleachers and do whatever we please. It's just straight tequila, no Caesars. Clean like towers of Pisa. Say they run from the reapers. Don't cry when a homie diseases, cause it's a jungle.
The conditions were just stellar. Some of the best Mavericks ever. I was riding the momentum that I had from Nazare, experiencing some of the biggest waves I've ever seen, getting confidence up, going to Jaws, deciding not to let fear rule my life, and then going to Mavericks and acting on everything that I had learned from the last two swells. These waves were so giant, so perfect. I would end up standing up and seeing this giant canvas in front of me and be thinking to myself, what do I want to do on this wave? There's a really refreshing feeling knowing that I could just play with my performance on the wave rather than worrying about what it was I needed to do. I was just living in that moment, just being.
Your crew money, chain game, Alexander Wang, who got it? I just set it all on fire, watch it burn. Yeah, I'd rather watch it burn. And I don't give a fuck what ball main is or who famous. I'm not jealous. Good Gucci sweater, set it all on fire, watch it burn. Watch it burn. Yeah, I'd rather watch it burn. Watch it burn.
When people talk about Kai's sessions at Mavericks, people who really know big wave surfing, there's this way of bringing it up that's kind of like, and then Kai showed up and it was just ridiculous. That's sort of the vibe, is like the performance level is just, you know, everybody's just like shaking their head at the stuff he does.
Yeah, rather watch it burn. I watch it burn. Rather watch it burn. I watch it burn. Watch it all burn.
I didn't fall once. It was so perfect. If you were in the spot, you had to just do 2 strokes and you were on maybe the tallest wave you've ever paddled. It really was like an incredible feeling to ride for 12 hours straight and not feel like you could do any wrong. Like, just take off and go surfing. It was the day of days. It was one of the best sessions I've ever had in big waves anywhere.
Did you wipe out on your last wave?
Oh my God. I did like a full, just that Dorian fall, like flatter
No.
wave, mid-step.
Was it the one I called you into? I was like, go in.
Yeah, it was a good chip. I got in it super easy, and then I just hit this knuckle and just, I don't know, I don't even know what happened. I literally like just dead sailored flat onto my chest, went over the falls, and then I got like 6 waves that were just perfectly doubling up on me all the way to the rocks.
You went through the rocks.
Right to that mushroom, the end
No
right.
way.
I got
You wanted all the smoke, huh?
another dimension.
Today was insane. I mean, the waves were breaking in a place I had never seen before, and we were paddling up, and we'd been out for so many hours. The backs of our arms, because wearing these wetsuits, it's like having a rubber band. So you're like trying to paddle over these waves, and we started cramping up, and we're like, can't even paddle over these giant walls of water. But, you know, when your heart is in your mouth, you're gonna just do whatever you can to sprint over it.
That was a long day. It was fun. I never thought I'd surf Mavericks, but here we are, and it's crazy because the wave was actually really fun. A lot more fun than I thought it'd be. But it was cool just watching the boys do their thing and got some huge ones.
Good job, Ridge.
I was so tired by the end, I like exhaled before I went underwater.
That was gnarly.
The most gratifying feeling is when the day ends and you wear all of those experiences of riding these big waves on your back, and it uplifts you. You feel like you've achieved something great, and you watch the sunset go below the horizon, and it's just popping beautiful colors, yellow, orange, red, pink, and nothing else matters. It's truly living in the moment, and when you live in the moment, you can't help but only feel happy. There's no other emotion than just pure bliss and happiness. And you feel so good about yourself. You start thinking of yourself how you should always think of yourself, which is on the highest standard. And for me, it takes riding some big waves to get to that point. But I think that is a huge draw to riding these big waves, is it makes me feel like the person that I know I can be.
Man, that's just beautiful stuff right there.
Coming back from Mavericks, I thought of 3 places I could go to improve my aerial game so that I could put it onto a giant wave.
Let's go! Oh my God.
He wants to get better. He wants to evolve.
I gotta do better.
He wants to keep pushing. And in pushing himself, he's essentially pushing surfing.